Okay, let's see how this one comes out. Something I found on the footpath. Alright, let's see what we can do with it. Okay. I'm going to leave it at 100, or we're going to enlarge it. We're going to enlarge it. Let's see how we go with this one. Going to add a background colour. Hopefully a background colour will take. I'm thinking green. Green will go well with this one, I think. Pretty well. Contrast, copy density. So this will be hopefully an interesting one. Even though it's a piece of refuse, it's going to be thrown away when I'm finished. But I'm going to give it one more use before it's tossed. Okay. Okay, what is it? It even had some things in it. So this here is a Pascal, marshmallows. And this is basically a mocha flavour. So this is the packet. It's basically a marshmallows packet. And basically, yeah, we're going to make this into something hopefully a lot more interesting than what it is. Just going to quickly play with the machine. So now we're just going to slip and slide it and see what we can make out of it. But there were still some marshmallows left in it, but I didn't want to eat them, of course, because I found this on the street, pretty much, on the footpath in the city. Just don't know where it's been and all that shit. I know for possibly, not for every one of them, but maybe a homeless person probably would have eaten it, but they've got no choice because they don't have much money and they get really hungry, and sometimes all they can do is raid a bin, a rubbish bin, which is really sad that people have to resort to that kind of action. I'm just wondering, this looks really strange but interesting. So I'm wondering if we're just going to just toss this on the ground and get it ready for the recycle. No, it's not recyclable, sorry, it's rubbish, it's refuse. But yeah, maybe a person who was homeless might have it, eat it. What other choice do they often have when they get hungry and they don't have much money? It's not fair that people must live on the street. I wish it didn't have to happen that way. I wish I had the money and the power, like these big corporations like Konica Minolta, to be able to give to the homeless and give them a home and somehow get them out of this terrible situation of having to eat from bins, which sometimes they do. I don't think all of them do it, but some of them do get a bit desperate, and when there's desperation, you just have no, we're not going to do that. We often have no choice, and it's just horrible that people have to do that in the 21st century. It's just so unfair, that these rich bitches, like the people, like the CEO of Konica Minolta, just don't care. And yet a person like me who's also a part of a marginalised society, well, basically, I can't do anything about it. I can't stop this. I haven't got no power to prevent homelessness. I've been homeless myself about 6 years ago, so basically I can't. Fortunately, I had some savings to live off, and I still claimed my disability pension, but I had a post box, my mum and dad's place. So I had a place where I could receive my Centrelink. So it wasn't like I didn't have, I had a postal address or a couple of postal addresses, even though I was having trouble getting on with my dad and my mum. So basically I used to go off for 2 weeks at a time, and I only slept rough once, went with a couple of other rough sleepers, and it was terrible. And trying to stay awake when you haven't enough sleep, it's terrible. And being told that you can't sleep here, you can't sleep there, like you're trying to catch a kip in the restaurant and they tell you not to sleep. It's really awful. You just don't get enough sleep. And the funny thing was when I slept rough for that one night, at least I ended up getting some kind of sleep, strangely enough. There was enough sleep to get me through. But I'll tell you, it's no picnic. I had about 10 grand worth of savings from my from a sheltered workshop job that I threw in because I was being bullied and I was so fed up with it. And basically, I lived off that for about 6 months. And basically, yeah, we're on top of my Centrelink benefit, of course. So basically, yeah, I just piddled that money away, and then I had to move in with my father, and he grudgingly had to accept. But it was no picnic living with my father. That was really hard. But eventually I ended up getting a place in a halfway house, and I stayed there for I think 6 months, and then I got a housing department unit, which is currently where I am. So I'm glad I got that out of the way, and I'm glad I'm no longer homeless anymore, which I'm glad. It's bloody awful, so take it from me, you don't want to go there. And of course society hates you the most when you're homeless. You got nothing, no one loves you, no one cares. I mean, the people that I used to go to church with couldn't give a fuck. They couldn't give a flying fuck. They could have offered me, I was so desperate, I would have taken a plate, I would have slept in somebody's laundry if I had a choice. So, but they wouldn't let me, so I had to fucking fend for myself. Shame on them, they're supposed to be religious people and they're supposed to be kind. I thought God and Jesus talks about helping the homeless or helping those in need, but these people didn't help me, so fuck them. And they just because I fucked up my life with no fault of my own, they treat me like shit and they allow me to be fucking homeless. So I don't really have any respect for those people that I once thought were my fucking friends and trusted me. I don't go to church anymore because I don't feel like I belong with these people. I miss these people. Don't get me wrong, I miss them, but fuck, they've become my enemies because I fucked up. That's not right. They should forgive me. Well, I can't forget, but damn it, I wish they'd fucking forgive me. I really miss them. But I have to burn the bridges, and that's what I've been doing. Doing all these fucking demos, trying to get myself recognised in large part so that my father would respect me as his daughter instead of treating me like I'm a failure. So I've got to go, but that's just basically it. This is the job I've done. Got to go.